Boom.
Right. Sean Spencer.
My man.
I've been looking all day. Over all day, I've been looking forward to chatting with you just about who knows what. Um, Looking forward to this format. I gave it the name Bad Snap because I expect to have lots of bad takes on my part. I expect to say lots of stupid stuff that I regret as soon as we're done chit chatting. And then I also decided I was fighting so hard to find a background that reflected it well. So I thought, oh man, Nick Young, when he thought he hit that three and he turned around and started walking off, I said, oh yeah, that is the best symbolism of what I hope for this thing to be. But
called Airball. That's what we should call a show.
But he was so confident when he turned around, man. I wish I had that confidence in life. Before we start our chat, I'll just start with a disclaimer. You can listen to Sean Spencer. He's going to have good takes when we talk because he usually does. And then I'll just start off with the fact that I am uneducated, I am uninformed, and I'm opinionated.
So, opinionated, yes.
Yeah.
Definitely informed and definitely educated.
So I went for a walk earlier. That's why I'm all pink and red and stuff.
Yeah.
And when I was in the walk, I was like, oh man, where's some stuff I want to talk to Sean about? And I was like getting super excited because like I feel football season creeping up. And I started thinking about like,
wait, real quick.
Go for it.
Well, not to cut you off, but what's the outside world like?
Oh, the outside.
Yeah, I haven't been outside since Wednesday.
Man, it's hot.
Yeah.
Well, we live in two different worlds, so
that's true.
Mine is hot, and there's a lot of people around here who wear red hats. So, like, I'd probably rather be stuck inside. I think Kirby's smart. He wears red hats all the time.
Yeah, that video you sent me. I don't know who that guy is. Get him out of here.
It's toasty out there, but I can't complain. It's so cloudy, like in the Cleveland area all the time, that anytime the sun is out, like, I'll take it, man. But I feel for you being stuck on the inside. But
no joke.
But when I was out on that walk, I was thinking about football and how excited I was. And I was like, all right, Sean played football. I never played football. But also we've both watched tons of football. And I started thinking, what are some songs that, like, when they hit you, it puts you, and it can be like off the wall songs too. So let me give you one I was thinking about. I'm thinking 2012 when my Irish are making their championship game run. It's the final game of the regular season. They go out to USC, and in the pregame, the lead up to the game, they play Phil Collins' In the Air Tonight. And it's never a song I would have associated with football at all. But now anytime I think of it, I think, oh, man, like I felt like when that song came on, it was destiny to win. And now anytime I hear it, like the juices get flowing. It could be May, and I'm like, oh, I could run through a wall right now. And it is not a song you would associate with football at all.
In the right moment, you would. In the right moment.
Well, I do now all the time. I was thinking, what gets Sean hyped?
Yeah, I think the first thing that came to my mind when you said that.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, that's the first thing that popped in my mind right there. No, that's funny. In the Air Tonight. I like that.
Is there anything that you used to listen to on your Walkman before you played a game?
Come on.
Did you have an iPod at that time?
You know what's funny? I had a Walkman and I had all that. And it's funny now that I think about it after the fact. I didn't have any hype stuff. When I didn't need, my personality. You knew me when we met at the YMCA. I didn't need any of that. I was just so happy to be there, to be playing with my guys, whatever. Like, the crowd. I was just in that atmosphere. If you would have known me, you can ask Will. If you would have known me in high school, I was just one of those guys that was just like, this is a blessing just to be playing the game that I love. Like, it didn't even matter. I just wanted to be there. So I can't think of that song is probably or like
Is there anything that the band would play? Because all right, so I went to Centerville, and I didn't play, but they had very good football teams when I went there.
Centerville High School.
Yep.
Okay.
Very good. They had very good teams when I was there.
This thing is ending right now.
And the band was terrible.
Yeah.
So we never had anything. But Westfield was our big rival, and I remember going to their games, and it was huge games, like my freshman through senior year of high school. Big names that we can throw out there. But I remember going to their game against us at Westfield, and all I knew was our band, and it was not good. And then all of a sudden they were playing So Fresh, So Clean for the Westfield band, and I was like, the other band is getting our crowd hyped because we never hear anything.
Well, so what year? Okay, so every time I see you and talk to you, I always assume that we are on the same age range. When did you graduate?
So I graduated high school 07.
Really?
So the year before me, so the 06, we had Drew Dudzik, Cam Dose. I don't know if you were still keeping up at the time. Drew went to JMU. He's the one who led Will Kramer's JMU Dukes to the big win over Virginia Tech. And then Dose, I think, went and played for William and Mary. We had a bunch of guys go to Syracuse. But then on the opposite side, the Westfield teams, that's when they had Eddie Royal.
Yeah.
They had Evan Royster. They had Sean Glennon.
Yeah.
Before they had Mike Glennon. I'm sure I'm missing a whole rack of guys. And then Oakton had Keith Payne, who was a monster. So what year are you looking?
So I graduated 01.
Okay.
So I think we played like Emo from or that even might have been right after I left from, was it Robinson, Nick Carter maybe, who was at I think Parkview and then went to Centerville.
Okay.
Nick something. He was a quarterback. Who else did we have around my time? Mike Walker from Hayfield. Who else did we have around on that time?
Who was the best guy you remember playing in high school? It could be anybody. We don't have to know the name. You just remember the name.
Oh my God. Who was it?
Maybe it's just a number.
I think it was that guy, that Nick guy. I don't know why. I mean, we hated that guy. He was good. Nick something, but he ended up going on to college. I don't know where he went. I know Emo went and played, I think, at Tech. I played with Danny McGrath, who played over at Tech for a little bit, offensive line. But I'm not gonna lie to you, man. So it's funny with how much I follow football now. When I played, my world was me. Yeah, my world was everything. Like it was my buddies would know, like all the guys on my team, they would know guys that are like, oh man, this guy's all Met and all state and everything. I'm like, I'm second team all district. Yeah, like, I was so amped into like just going and swinging my towel and doing that. And as far as the song they played, they would always play this the was it Busta Rhymes song. And they would always just play that. And I was like, okay, I like that. Just that part. They'd always play that. And they keep moving. I'd be like, all right. But again, in the games, I was just so
locked in.
I mean, I was that guy that ran out through the paper or whatever, and I'm running up here and flinging my towel and jumping up, and coach sitting here telling me, because I was starting running back. He was like, if you fall and get hurt, you're done. All right, don't like I love the energy, but one of my coaches told me, he said, man, you wasting all your energy in the first 5 minutes of the daggone game trying to show out, and these people ain't that don't give that hyped up.
Yeah.
And the team knew, but it was. But as far as who like then progressed and went on, I never followed as much.
No, it's you were locked in, you were playing. I was watching, so I was enamored with what was going on at the time, and that's when I really started like loving football. Yes. Like I had liked it, but I remember one of those like being a freshman and then being in a class with a senior who was like one of the best players. He didn't end up going on because he did play in college, but I think he got in some trouble. He was a super great dude. But I'm a freshman in Latin class sitting with like the coolest football player there is, and he's talking about my Irish with me when he's taking like visits to Tennessee. So like it just got me really, really, really into the football. And of course, just because I'm a big guy, they wanted me to play, but I'm just a teddy bear inside, man. So I would have been a pushover.
You're a lover, not a fighter, man.
That's right.
I will say, and we ain't gotta go too deep into this, but I've seen that bear come out. I've seen you almost stand up and take somebody's head off, and I had to be like, "Oh, hold on now, calm it down, my guy."
I don't recall.
I've seen you lose it, but you out there.
There's a little crazy in there if you tap into it. It's a little bit somewhere. Oh, but yeah, man, that's what I'm so excited for football to come back. And I keep thinking about like the little things that kind of trigger that, or the little things that like, man, there is nothing to me. Like I thought it would go away the older I get, the excitement for the season, and it just becomes, I don't know, it almost becomes more the older I get. I'm not putting my hand through like a wall or throwing my phone as much as I used to. But the meaning of it is still just as much, if not more. And like you with the Commanders, you and Will with the Commanders, you are keeping up with UNC football. Like this is a year-round thing for some of us, and it's different sports for different people. But like, I don't take a day off from keeping up with my favorite team, and that's why I claim I can't be a fan of another team. Like, I don't know if we've ever talked about that, but like, I don't have enough in me to be able to give to another team like I do my favorite team. So I feel like calling myself a fan of another team would be a disservice. It wouldn't be honorable.
Almost a slight to your guys or something.
Well, no, just like that. I know what a fan is because I have that for this team.
Yes.
And I can't do that with another one. So there's teams I root for, but I just don't. I can't live and die, man.
So what are those teams? Is it just Notre Dame?
Yeah, for me, man, like the only team I can consider myself a fan of is Notre Dame football. I root for Notre Dame basketball, but it's not the same thing.
Yeah.
Growing up, I rooted for the Braves. Once I moved to Virginia, I started going to Orioles games. So I love seeing the Orioles do well. I love going to Orioles games. I was a Hornets. Yeah.
We got killed today. We're getting killed by the Marlins like 11-1, but it is what it is.
I was a Hornets fan when I lived down in North Carolina. I'd go to see games there, go see Baron Davis.
Yeah.
Freaking Jamal Mashburn. And then, of course, the years that, I think like the formative years, like when you're getting into sports, like I can think back to like the teams that were good and that started really getting me into it. So like my first time like really understanding pro football and enjoying it was I remember watching the Patriots and the Packers in the Super Bowl, but it was the next
31.
year when we got to see Denver and Terrell Davis.
32.
That, those Bronco teams were the first ones to kind of pull me in, even though I was a Panthers fan. Elway and Shannon Sharp and TD and Ed McCaffrey and Rod Smith, Romanowski punching people in the face.
Hated that guy.
And then
hated him in Denver, loved him in San Francisco.
Oh man, he
jerk in San Francisco too.
That dude I guess he's the epitome of like a guy you want on your side.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you want him at your side from a distance, because he still might punch you too.
Don't get in a pile with him.
Yeah,
he grabbing whatever from whoever and just.
You remember when he blinded his teammate in one eye?
Oh, what?
Yeah. I can't remember if it was in the locker room or after practice. I think it was when he was with Oakland. He punched his teammate in the eye, and the guy went blind in that eye. His own teammate, But then I think basketball, I think Tim Duncan, like the Spurs and the Knicks, that's the finals that got me into basketball.
Yeah.
How loaded that Knicks team was. Just, of course, the baseball was during the peak of the steroid era when I got to watch Sammy and Mark and then Barry on the tail end of it. Like, so it's so interesting how we end up with who our teams are, even though, I don't know, I feel like as a kid, you kind of got to go through you got to be able to go through some stuff to figure out where your allegiances are.
Yes. That's where I respect you so much on your love of Notre Dame, because I have a couple affiliations, obviously North Carolina, that's where we're from. My dad went there, my mom's from that area. Like, so I love Tar Heels all day long, but my Notre Dame is the Washington Redskins, Commanders, whatever, that is the team that is associated with my earliest memories in life. When I was 4 or 5, I was about 4 years old. Washington, Doug Williams won the Super Bowl 22, and I don't remember much, but my mom had me up all night watching that game, Bronco Busters, beating them. So for me, there wasn't anything else in life other than the Washington Redskins. So you fast forward probably about 5, 6, 7 years, I'm 8 or 9 years old, and we're in August, and I'm sitting here in my room, and my mom rushes into the room because I'm bawling because the Bills are kicking our butt in a preseason game, and I'm just yelling at my screen, why are they doing it? My mom said, turn that TV off. You ain't watching this game. No, I want to watch it. But it was just so great because again, you talk about those early years, 87 we win. When I really had my, come to like the consciousness, the real memory, 91, Mark Rippon takes us to the daggone Super Bowl. We go 14-2. We barely lose any games that season, and we do it. So in my mind, this is what we're going to do forever. And now, mind you, on the other side, because my dad was so big into basketball, 93 or 82 was, I was aboard, but he was there at 82 when Jordan won it. 93, we won with the whole timeout thing, Weber. And then, 2005. So I'm like, okay, we're winning. So I'm just associating with winners. I'm like, like Washington was it. In North Carolina, I follow the basketball team a lot more. I follow the football team more now, but I follow the basketball team more then. But for me, if it was tooth and nail, I had to pick one thing for the rest of it was Washington, without a shadow of a doubt. In fact, most of the teams that I think I associate more is with the teams that I hate, as opposed to so it's the Dallas Cowboys, it's the Ohio State Buckeyes, it's Duke, it's what I mean. All those teams that I just can't stand, those are the ones that I kind of follow more because it's just like I just want to see them fall. I just want to see them crumble You know what I mean? And I'll make friends that are of those teams. It's like, oh, I want to see
just so you can, yeah. Make
because,
friends just so you can undermine their entire
right.
being when they lose.
But I love that though, because the passion that I had was on football or sports or basketball. So that was like the first book that I ever read was a 400-page book on like the history of the NFL. You know what I mean? And I mean, I used to get books and books and books, and I don't have them with me since I moved, but I mean, just pages and pages of just football history going all the way back to the 1900s, all the way to like the AAFL and the mergers and all, I mean, everything. That to me was life. So it was more of the whole of football that I loved. The point about, you getting that feeling, getting that smell, like it's about that time. But as far as my team, and it's just like Notre Dame for you, it's Washington.
Yeah, it's ingrained. It's in your blood, man.
Second
The
nature.
funny thing is, I have a very similar. I won't go too deep in it, but I have a very similar story because, like, growing up, I liked Wake Forest. I liked North Carolina because I was from that general area, and from where I lived and the kind of environment I was in, we hated Duke because we weren't as well off, and the Duke people were well off.
Yeah.
So we hated Duke for that reason. But my dad was from South Bend, and I don't know when it clicked, but I just remember like I liked those teams so much. But then when I was watching a game with him one day and just seeing how into it he was, it was like, oh snap, Wake Forest UNC isn't my thing. This is my thing.
Yep.
And I started watching, and then, I see Jarius Jackson play, and I see a running quarterback, and then, in elementary school, we're playing on the blacktop, and I'm the quarterback, and how cheap it seems now, but I'm like, oh yeah, y'all didn't know quarterbacks could run, could you? So I'm just running all the time,
right?
And looking back, like I said, it was cheating basically at that time, but it made me unstoppable.
Erik, stop running, Erik.
But just seeing how passionate it was and how much it meant to him. But then, so one time he breaks like, there's a little glass around on the ceiling fan, where the light would be. And, he jumps up to celebrate and he hits that, and that kind of resonates in my mind. And then, of course, like 10 years later, he's walking in the room asking me why I'm getting so upset. And it just makes me think of your story with your mom. And I'm like, you turned me into this monster. This is your own doing. Like, what do you mean? What am I doing? Yeah. Who was the first Redskin at the time that you remember? Oh, that's my guy.
Doug Williams.
Okay.
No question. January 31st, 1988, first black quarterback to start a Super Bowl, first black quarterback to win a Super Bowl. He was the backup. He was not only was he not paid correctly, he was, I believe, if there was 28 teams, I think he was like the 40-something highest paid quarterback in the league. They didn't have him a starter. Jay Schrader was a starter. He came in and did it. That I didn't know. Obviously, at the time, I'm 4 years old. I don't understand the ramifications of it. Now I do, obviously. But at that particular point, for me, and I always tell this story, and this is as much about my existence and who I am as anything. That moment for me was what a lot of, I think, African-American youth moment when they saw Obama get into the White House. It was something that, for that moment, I said, I want to play football. I want to do what he does. Anything is possible. I can play quarterback. You know what I mean? And I think it's so weird now. You're talking about playing football on the blacktop and things like that. Whenever I would play football, I always wanted to play quarterback.
Yeah.
And people, we'd always be, oh man, you're fast. Just play wide receiver, blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, I'm just thinking, I'm going to be Doug Williams. Doug Williams doesn't play wide receiver. He plays quarterback. But I didn't even think about the whole, running quarterback and mobile and all that stuff. But I was just like, I mean, my speed, that's irrelevant. I don't care about that. I want to be Doug Williams. I don't want to be this guy. But so yeah, he for me is it. He's that moment when I saw him and saw that the first, do I have it? Somewhere in here. The first jersey I ever got, I ever bought was a Doug Williams jersey from '87. So from that year. So yeah, that's it. That is 100% it. Who was it for you?
It was Jarius. It was it was a black quarterback at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I remember getting a hard time from my grandmother that when we go out to South Bend, I had every color of the number 7 jersey there was to have. And, of course, at that time, like Michael Vick, he's got nothing on Jarius Jackson.
Yes. Yep.
Like, come on now. Yeah, exactly. And then, that was kind of like a golden age of when quarterbacks really were starting to run because, Seneca Wallace wasn't that far after. Eric Crouch. Oh, my gosh. I loved Eric Crouch.
What he did. He's at Nebraska, right?
Yeah.
What he did there. Whew.
But I remember, that's the guy who really, got me into football hardcore. And, looking back, no disrespect to Jarius, but he's kind of just like a cliff note in the history of Notre Dame football. But in my history of Notre Dame football, he's like this gigantic figure.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think that's really fun to kind of think back of like, who are these guys that are icons to you that, think like you said about Doug Williams, like there's probably kids right now that are like Nick Foles. That's
right.
That's my guy. That's my guy.
Right.
Like, dude had one run, but he forever changed their lives.
That's all you need. Just that one run.
Now, I'm not comparing Nick and Doug. Doug had a much more impactful career overall in all aspects.
I will take my one Hall of Fame vote. And I know I'm the only one. I will take that with me as far as it could go. All right. The man did more for Tampa Bay and the NFL as in a whole for black quarterbacks. And I think that should put him in. I know the stats might not be there. That's it. That's my plea. I'm done.
Hey man, you break a barrier, you break a barrier.
Come on.
Like even if you don't get in on the. I mean, I definitely think there should be more access to the Hall of Fame for things you do for the game and community as a whole.
Yep. And
Doug definitely. I mean, I know from my time in DC that he was well renowned for the things he did off the field. Gosh, there were some amazing players for Washington, who the Darryl Greens of the world and the
passing.
Yeah, see, here's my problem with Washington. I moved up from Carolina, and I had like in my personal life, I had a bit of a breakup with the state of North Carolina for some other reasons. So at that time, I gave up my Hornets and I gave up my Panthers. Because I wanted nothing to do with the state. And I get to DC. Your great Stephen Davis.
Oh, man.
He goes to Carolina.
Yep.
He takes them to a Super Bowl. And my introduction to Washington Redskin football was the old ball coach, Shane Matthews, Danny Werfel. So that's you said you're introduced to Washington football in this like golden age, and I'm introduced to Washington in just the worst time possible.
Fun fact, I actually dated Danny Werfel's niece.
What?
At you know her at the YMCA.
Who? Oh, you don't have to say.
Oh well, I already did.
I mean, you can edit it out. Who was it?
Abigail.
Abigail.
I don't know her last name. It was SED something. That was his niece.
All right,
He showed me pictures and everything. It was
after
very short-lived, but
after the show, you're gonna have to give me see if I can renew my memory. Well,
I'll see if I got the picture.
Hey man, I got to be the counselor for Brian Westbrook's kids when I was there.
What?
That dude, for a little dude, that is a very intimidating man.
Talk about people I don't like. He used to torch us.
Dude, he was
the screen pass with this guy. He used to torch us. Hated that. I like it now. I'm good now. But then I was like, dude, are y'all kidding me right now? He's running a screen.
His kids would they'd walk around and they would have autograph cards in their backpack to give out like it was currency.
You're like, let me get one of them cards right quick.
It's hilarious. But yeah, man, that guy, he wasn't big, but he was big. I don't know how you explain it, but when someone is like, I don't know how tall he was, but he was built like a bowling ball. But
like Darren Sproles.
Are there any Redskins that you think back that like, oh man, I thought this guy was great, but he really was trash?
When he came, and this is hard for me because hindsight is 20/20, but when he came, Michael Westbrook, I thought was going to be the guy. Obviously, at that point, that was around the time because you and I have talked about this. The early 90s is when I really got into Notre Dame football because it was on NBC4. I would always watch them. I told you this multiple times. I thought Rick Meyer was going to be the next Joe Montana. I am wrong. But I think it was 94 when you have that, and sorry for this, Alex, if you see this later, but when you have that great game in the big house with Cordell Stewart in Colorado, throws up that Hail Mary and Michael Westbrook comes down with it and catches it. And then to find out that we ended up getting him in Washington, I was like, oh my goodness, we're going to get this guy. Funny thing you talk about Stephen Davis, because Michael Westbrook is the one who got in that fight and went after Stephen Davis in training camp. But that guy, I thought he was going to be the second coming. Like I thought he had the size. I thought he had the speed. I'm like, yo, we could just throw it up to this guy. That was it. I thought that was going to be it. I mean, that, and then obviously fast forward, my guy Sam Howell. I mean, I lived the illusion that he was going to be the man, but
yeah, but see, that's okay though, because Sam Howell, like you had this hope as a Carolina fan that he ended up in Washington being the guy when there weren't necessarily those expectations on him in general.
Yeah, but
you have this hope that, oh my goodness, a guy from my school might be the guy. Hey man, he's still in the league. Like,
yes,
it still counts.
Yeah.
I love Sam Howell in college. He was a heck of a player.
I watched the man from his freshman year all the way up. I watched him just ball out, set records. I mean, he had 4 different players on his offense: Michael Carter, Javonte Williams, Daz Newsome, and the guy that we just left, Yami Brown, all had 1,000-yard seasons in his, I think, sophomore year or something like that. They all went to the pros. I mean, I'm sitting here thinking this guy is going to be it. And that's when I kind of reverted back to that kid mentality. Like, I don't care that he's a short quarterback. I don't care he's going on a team that's really dysfunctional right now with an owner and a coach on the way out. He can change everything around. Well,
And that's the hard part, man, because how many guys you go, oh man, if Sam Howell had walked into this coaching staff,
come on now.
I mean, maybe nothing comes from it, but at least he would have stood a chance. And that's what I think with my beloved Brady Quinn, man. Like, he had to go to Cleveland?
Yeah.
Like, Come on, of all places, my dude could have gone. He had to go to Cleveland. So it's one of those things where, it probably ends up the same way if he goes somewhere else. But also there's this little glimmer like I still have of like, man, I still think had he gone somewhere else, he might still be playing right now.
Could have been. Now, I will say he does a great job on, was it the Fox?
Oh, somebody's got to counter out that USC bullshit.
Well, you got Liner and Bush up there. Yeah,
You got Urban on there too.
Yeah, he does a great job at that. Always has the hair, slick to the side, looking real nice, professional and whatnot. But I definitely thought he was going to be the guy. I thought he could. Now, was he the quarterback? With the original tush push, with the Bush push.
Yeah, so that was when the clock had already expired before they snapped the play. Yeah.
Yes, play was dead.
Yeah, that was it. The game was over, and they still let him do it.
That's below.
Game was over, Sean Spencer.
Yes, I remember that game. I remember. I wanted them to fall.
My beloved Tom Zibikowski, who my lovely dog is named after, returned a punt in that game. Brady Quinn was lights out. He was great. We just needed some refs to be able to watch the clock, and maybe a defensive back to, go for a pass interference as opposed to just let the guy run by him at the end of the game. But,
or how about the refs just call the call that's on the books? You can't push a player. You can't advance a player into the end zone. That was on the books at the time.
Yep, the clock expired and that. But, either way, it's I think one of the best games in college football history.
Yep.
So,
yep.
And you know what? Maybe, Charlie Weiss got his 10-year extension after that game. I was going to say maybe it helped us move on from him earlier, but since he got it after the game, I don't think it really helped with good old Chucky.
But that begot what ended up being the epic Texas versus USC game, and Vince Young was the guy that he's another one who I jumped on board with, that thinking he could be the great thing once he came out of college. But that game, because they had won so much and were going for the three-peat and hadn't lost and all that stuff, have him play that. I loved that. And I loved it more because I had watched that Notre Dame game and I was just like, this is BS. It just seemed like, and I know I'm not, I could say this because I'm not a Notre Dame diehard like you. It just seemed a little fishy. Okay. It's kind of like, all right, the competition committee or somebody wanted to keep this up to maybe we can see if we can get them to a third national championship and do something nobody else has done. It's kind of like,
I'm not a conspiracy theorist, so I blame incompetence. But no, your point about the Vince Young, and that makes me think of the fact that I think the best college football player I've ever seen in my lifetime is Reggie Bush. And tush push, throw it out, keep it, whatever. Hated him on USC, but I still feel like I haven't seen anybody else like him. I know people like to say Tebow, but look, man, quarterback ain't the best football player of all time.
And this is what kills me about that conversation, because it quickly turns into who is your favorite or who is the one that you most favor, and that's not the question.
And I hate Reggie.
Right. And see, that's the thing. The question is, who is the best? And for my money, it's got to be a guy from a school that I hate. Another school that I hate in the Virginia area, Virginia Tech, and Michael Vick.
Yeah.
Hated that man. Yeah. Hated him. Okay, when he was in college, couldn't stand him. Can't stand Virginia Tech to this day. But that man changed the daggone game. He absolutely changed the game, and he deserves every accolade. And people, I know you're gonna come for me, all the dog enthusiasts. I understand that. I'm separating that from the football field. What he did in football at Virginia Tech that year, I still somewhere on a VHS, if I can find a VHS and the VCR to play it on. Was it the Sugar Bowl where they played Florida State?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
It was the national championship, but Peter Warwick had that great game and all that stuff. But Virginia Tech gave them everything they can handle for 3 quarters, and Michael Vick was.
I thought they played Tennessee in the championship. And T. Martin was the quarterback. I could be wrong.
No, you're talking about for
Tech.
No, yeah, Tech. It was Florida State. Because that was the Peter Warwick. Because that's another person who I thought was going to be amazing. Now he went to the Bengals, and the Bengals were trash, but I thought Peter Warwick was going to come in the league and just set the league on fire. But no, Vic, it was against Florida State because it was I think Peter Boulware was on that defense.
That means it was the Chris Wanke team.
Yeah. Because I think it was it 90? It was 99. Yes, because Vic came in the league in 2001. He left after his sophomore year, so that was his freshman year, and he was just otherworldly. And I couldn't stand it because everybody, as I mind you, I'm a sophomore or junior at this time. Everybody is just loving on him. Oh man, Vic is the greatest because it's Virginia Tech. That's so close to us. A lot of people from where I went, Herndon, went to Virginia. I mean, in our area, went to Virginia Tech because I was one of the local schools. They loved him. Couldn't stand him. Now our buddy Will tell you that I stole his jersey. I borrowed his jersey and just never was around him to give it back.
Yeah, you didn't have the intention to keep it forever.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm actually not going to come after you on Vic for the dog thing. I think it's heinous, but I also think he's one of the few people that I can think of in my lifetime that actually served time and had to pay penance. That doesn't make up for everything, but he did his time. When does that ever happen with celebrities of any type?
Right.
And I love the fact that he came back and he was able to dig himself out of that hole. It's just so heartbreaking that did happen, not only because of the situation that happened, but also just because, right before it happened, he was like the first quarterback to go into like Lambeau and win a playoff game in Lambeau or something crazy like that. Like he was doing just all sorts of things that we had never seen before.
If I'm not mistaken, he was the first. If I'm not mistaken, he's the first black quarterback to be drafted #1 overall.
I would not be surprised. Yeah,
I'm trying to think. I don't think
that would make sense. I mean, the closest thing I could think of would be Randall, but I don't think Randall went that high in his draft. I'm just trying to think of like guys that you like.
When did Donovan come out? Donovan McNabb.
Donovan was like 98. So that was around the same time. He was Syracuse, right?
Could have been him. I don't know.
What year did Donovan? Donovan was a heck of a quarterback too, man. I can't believe that's a conversation in itself, man. The disrespect he gets with all I know you don't like the Eagles, but man, he was good for a long time.
What? My issue with him is not for his time with the Eagles. My issue with him is for taking all that daggone money and coming to Washington, giving us like 5 good games. Okay? That's my issue. You killed us for like 5 or 6 years, and then you come to us with hardly anything left.
I completely forgot about him and his time in Washington. It was so quick.
Good God. I was like, are you kidding me? Now, he did wake up the sleeping giant that is Kirk Cousins with the whole "you like that" by calling him out and saying he ain't ready.
Yeah.
But, you know what? Go ahead.
No, you're good. Go.
I was gonna say to the Michael Vick conversation, and I don't know if you want to dive into this, but I think that talking about the rehabilitation and talking about kind of where he is now. Obviously, he got a second chance in the league, got like a kind of career resurgence, and then now being the head coach of was it Norfolk State?
I think so. I think that's right.
Yeah.
I mixed him and Deshaun.
Now Deshaun's at
where they went.
He's at Delaware State. Deshaun,
Okay.
right? Yeah.
Okay.
Eddie George is at Bowling Green. So, but I think the fact that he has turned and has done so much and has like you can't change the past, but he's done his time. He contributes to charities. He's trying to. He's definitely changed his image. He's definitely changed. I think my question would go to certain people, and you know, and you could speak more to this because you are a dog owner, dog lover. Certain people, like I had an ex that we'll never forgive him, ever. It's over. He's an evil, terrible, done. He's out. But she's not a huge football fan. So for me, I'm looking at it, and we'd always bump heads on this because I'm looking at it from a football perspective. I'm like, okay, but you still, I get it. Yes, I'm not downplaying what he did. But when can we let this man breathe again? Like when he's done his time, he's not run away from it. He's owned up to everything, and he's changing everything. And the reason why I ask this, the first thing that I always think about, because I'm living in the Northern Virginia area, close to Baltimore, is Ray Rice. Now again, that was egregious. We see the video, what he did in the elevator. No defense whatsoever. Okay. I do need to say though, before all of that, the amount of things that he did for charity, the amount of things he did for the city of Baltimore, the amount of stuff that he did for that team, helped them to a Super Bowl, all that stuff. When do we get to a point, and I'm not advocating letting this man come back in the league, but when do we get to a point where we say, you did wrong, you did your time, you got ostracized, whatever, we could at least forgive. Like, why have we in society become so morally, judgmental that we think we can say, oh, you're cast out. Especially with certain things we got going on in this daggone country right now. So, how do we just and the reason why I think is a good connection because it hit you because the dog thing with Michael Vick, that's extremely close to you. And I would also imagine that, abuse and any of that stuff, domestic violence is another strong point. And these are things that we are not, there's I can name a couple things that are unforgivable, but This is something that is egregious, awful, terrible. But when can we sit here and say, okay, we got to at least give this man an opportunity to whatever. She didn't leave him. She stayed with him. He ain't making the money no more.
I don't know, man. See, you're getting me in this weird, like, to me, it's a case by case thing.
Yep.
Had Vic, the lawyers got him out of it and he been able to keep playing and all that good stuff, I'd probably never do, let it go or forgive it. But when we as, society decide, here is your punishment, he served his time, he did it. Mm-hmm. At that point, who am I to say that he shouldn't have an opportunity in life to continue his life, right? Mm-hmm. Like to not suffer or go down a worse path. Ray Rice, it hits me a bit different because I don't feel like he ever really got in trouble for what he did. Yeah, I do know that, yes, he got ostracized from the league. Mind you, the league did not try to ostracize him because they tried to cover it up for him. Yeah. They hid the tapes.
Yes.
But when you see, look, I never have to let my dog around Michael Vick. I never have to, I'm not going to advocate for him to run an animal shelter, right? Or to have a dog. But in the same right, the man still has to make a living somehow. He still has a skill or experience that can translate to potentially helping others. I think we've talked in previous podcasts. Fundamentally, I have an issue with him being the head coach.
Mm-hmm.
I do think he should be coaching. I don't know that I think he should have been handed the reins to lead a college football program. That's not up to me to decide.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't do it, but someone decided that it is good and he's the right guy. So hopefully, I'm really hopeful it works out. A grown man who is one of the premier athletes in the world just slugging his wife or girlfriend and then throwing her over his shoulder like a caveman, that's not something that I think can necessarily be changed. We can take Mike away from dogs. We can make sure he doesn't get dogs.
Yeah.
But the only reason that Ray is in trouble is because it was on tape. So when did it happen before? I mean, I really have a hard time believing that those things are one-offs. And we really know throughout, just history, and you're into psychology, I enjoy sociology, there's so much that goes into these relationships where people can fall in love with their abusers and they can think that it is their fault.
Mm-hmm.
And, I hope that nothing ever happened again.
Mm-hmm.
But shit, man, when you are a weapon compared to your partner,
mm-hmm.
and you do that, that's something I just can't get past. I do hope that they've sorted it out. I guess the best way to put it is, if I were a owner of an NFL team,
mm-hmm.
I would have not brought him in. After that, I would have not gotten Joe Mixon.
See, now you're opening that. That's what I'm getting at.
Kareem
Because
Hunt,
is it case by case, or is it how do you help me? How can you help my team? When you look at Tyreek Hill, he's another one.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the thing. I mean, my team might lose, man. And I'm not some perfect, upstanding citizen who's never done anything wrong. But I don't know, selling my soul for a win is just, stuff happens,
mm-hmm.
but I don't know, man.
And I'm not advocating.
No, I know you're not. I'm just, and that's why I say it's kind of case by case, because it's, I just don't see, and maybe I'm ignorant to it. You just don't hear a lot of success stories of people who are domestic abusers stopping. You hear about things going quiet. So does that mean they just got better at it? And like I said, maybe I'm ignorant to it, and hopefully that was a one-off with Ray and his girl. But I don't know how that is. Maybe he never punched her like that again. But you're telling me you go from 0 to 80, and that's the only thing that's ever happened? So maybe it's never been as egregious, but I just have a really, really hard time thinking that's a one-off.
It's a slippery slope, and I really don't want to push this conversation down this far, because I do think it is case sensitive. And this, as far as this one, I am not saying that he should come back. I'm not saying it was more the general
No, you're right. You're right, and I'm the one who took it down the path of.
Oh no, but that's
let's really dive into it.
Right, but here's the other thing though. And this is one other thing I want to say, because you and I, for however much we love this game, we have not gotten anywhere past. Like for me, I played high school, and so we haven't gotten anywhere past that. So I haven't. I wouldn't say this, but I haven't had any females throw themselves at me, or had any females that maybe have tried to put me in a situation where it's like, I got your baby, I got like where they're messing with my mind, or doing. Again, I'm not trying to give them a pass, I'm not trying to do all this, but I've seen situations where dudes are just sitting there like, and she's just in his face, and I've had females do that, not because I played football, but just because they knew I'm a really nice guy and a really sweet guy, and I'm not going to do anything. So they went and pushed it to the extreme and said the nastiest things and I've never hit a girl, never wanted to hit nothing like that. But we'd all be lying if we didn't say that if you get pushed, like when you and I talked about when it was the dude that pushed you, but when you get pushed to that point, there is something at some point that you look at somebody like, have you lost? Are you crazy? This is where it gets so messed up for me, because 100 million% ever lay your hand on a woman, it's done. I have no defense for that. I am not in it. None of that. How do we though play some of this stuff where they know these guys are gold mines and they do what they can, and then they get in there, and maybe that's telling the guy that's bringing that type of person in. Maybe they're fostering that behavior.
It's tough. We're asking these people to be, warriors to a large degree,
right?
And we're asking them to be extremely aggressive, but in the same right, you got to know there's a difference. Like I can't get past that part. Like, the only thing you can think of is if you're legitimately defending your life, and there are cases where the men are being abused. Like, so growing up in North Carolina, I don't know if you remember this, but the Panthers had Fred Lane. Does that name ring a bell? So Fred Lane, I'm thinking I'm getting it right. Fred Lane was a fullback, and he, his wife ended up shooting and killing him with a shotgun. And there had been claims that he was domestically abusing her, but it turned out that she had been physically abusing him. And, there's nothing he can do, right? Because he's not going to strike her back or something like that. And so there are these weird things that definitely happen. And look, this guy restrained himself and then he ended up getting murdered. So I'm with you. It's just men in general are physically so strong and built so much differently that, I don't know, you got to know in your mind that that's just not something you can do. And without going too far, to your point, down that lane. But I also think that there is a time for forgiveness and giving people a second chance. I also think that being a professional athlete is to a large degree a privilege, and I think we treat it like it's a right. I think that, I do something stupid, I'm not going to have my job, and I might not ever be welcome back to the sector I'm in, right? And we sometimes put this, but this guy can help get us over the top. And it's like, I don't know if we can get to that. But then you look at a situation that isn't abuse. You look at the Colin Kaepernicks of the world and you go, well, man, I never loved the guy as a quarterback, and that was before everything. But you can't tell me that he wasn't a NFL quarterback.
He was He was the second wave, in my opinion, of those mobile quarterbacks, and probably the first wave of the read option quarterbacks. At that draft, or in that time, you had Colin Kaepernick, the RG3s, the Russell Wilsons, guys that were very mobile, but they ran, they could throw the whole nine. We all know what he did, people's stance on it and everything of that nature. And no, he's not one of these guys that I'm going to say, oh, he would have been a top 10 in the Hall of Fame. No, he's not one of those guys. Did he lead his team to the Super Bowl? Yeah, absolutely he did.
Was he one of the 96 best guys in the world at doing what he was doing? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that's the weird thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so we can advocate for Joe Mixon to come back, but we have someone who has an opinion, and we can't have them. So there's these weird double standards in the NFL.
Yes.
So we'll stand on the moral ground of a guy takes a knee during the anthem, but then a guy gives a knee to someone, and second chance. And I'll be honest with you, that Ray Rice, Joe Mixon time was when I started falling out of love with the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And it happens in college too. But it's just such an interesting thing. You look at the Ja Morant stuff, like, what has he actually done that that warrants the suspensions that he's had? There's been one or two things, but has he really done something? Has he gotten in trouble with the law? So there's these just super interesting double standards where if you were good enough to get me over the hump,
there it is.
But you also aren't talking in a way that is something that I don't believe in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it kills me. And I mean, I'd love to know what you think of all that. But, like, I mean, Deshaun Watson, that dude should never play football again.
And he's got the super. And funny, I think I sent this to you about. No, actually, I didn't. I sent you the other one. There's a Dominic Foxworth episode that he does on some stuff that's coming out now about collusion in reference to that contract of Deshaun Watson, and also pertaining to like the Lamar contract. It's a couple of other ones that happen later on. And I'll definitely send that to you. I watched it, but I wasn't studying up while I was watching it, and I didn't know if we were going to talk about that. But that's definitely an interesting topic, because that's another one, and it really gets kind of messed up. And I'll kind of downgrade and bring it kind of close to Washington. Brandon McManus, off season last year, around this time last year, we had signed him as our kicker. He was good. He guy's been around. He's played in the league. We wanted him in. We thought, hey, this could be a great move. I was excited about it. Then over the summer, there were several reports that came out that he was accused of sexual assault on a plane, or essentially they said he was like groping some girls or doing sexual assault on a plane, and so Washington said, boom, we're done. Good, you're gone. He gets picked up. I do not remember.
Yeah, I don't remember where he ended up last year.
Maybe the Packers got him or somebody.
I think you're right. I think they did, because they had like 2 or 3 kickers get injured.
Yeah, and then he ends up having a solid season. Now, mind you, the allegations either got denied or dismissed or something like that. But it's like, you got one team, which is in Washington, and mind you, the coaching staff is still young, still fresh, and there's an image they're trying to uphold and keep everything that's away from Dan Snyder and all that negativity that was in Washington beforehand. But then you have another team that says we need a kicker. Now, the difference is Washington needed a kicker. We went through 6 daggone kickers. So we needed a kicker, but we made that step. So it is case by case, it is case sensitive, but at the same time, where is that line? And why is that line? And this is a rhetorical question. Why is that line not
defined
all the way through the league?
Yeah.
Why is it left up to the teams? Why are they given? Why is there not things that are automatic deal breakers? You get convicted of this. If you get even if you get accused of it, Mike Green for Baltimore, he got picked up. If you get accused of it, you need to go to class. We need to talk about it. Period. Because
we need to either know that you can reform and you're gonna pay your penance, or we need to know, hey man, this turned out to be a messy situation that didn't happen how it came out. It happened.
Mm-hmm.
But how did you get yourself in this situation? Like, to your point, like, yeah, should every time someone gets accused of something, should we shut it all down? Probably not, because, then it's going to become a strategy of sorts.
Exactly.
But
exactly.
When you have, and I'm not ragging on just the Deshaun, but there is a certain point, and I'm not a lawyer to define it, or I'm not Roger Goodell to define it, but when you have 34 people come up with an almost identical story, why the hell are you able to get a $300 million contract extension?
Now, with that being said, Justin Tucker.
Yeah, I mean,
what do you think the league should do about that? I mean,
seemed pretty cut and dry that the SPA had record of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
but how good is good?
Because but no, that's the thing, man. Nobody is that good.
Right. Well, yeah. Especially when he knew it was coming down the pipe last year, he stunk. Or not last year, but was it 2 years ago when he last played? He stunk because he knew that stuff was coming out because he knew he was doing wrong. So now, and that's the problem, I think, in this whole thing. And I think you hit the nail on the head. It's kind of like each case seems to be looked at differently depending on what the team, their position is, or what their need is, or how desperate they are. Or
if you're a losing team, it's easy to say, "Oh yeah,
a la the Browns,
get rid of them."
Mm-hmm.
But it's just and it's a fascinating conversation, man. Mm-hmm. I appreciate the fact that you brought it up because there's so much nuance to it, but I can't think of a player in the NFL. The closest thing I can think of to a player that we know was accused of something that really changed the game would be Ben Roethlisberger. So I think of players that had accusations and that sort of stuff, and I'm sure other people, when they hear this, they can probably rattle off some other ones. But that's one of the few players that you can go, you know what? That legitimately made their season being able to have that player.
Yep.
Right? I don't think anybody's bigger than the game. Let's put it this way. The NFL makes stars.
Mm-hmm.
You get rid of Tyreek Hill, we're going to love the next guy.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's not as explosive as Tyreek Hill, but you know what? It's not going to matter to us.
Mm-hmm.
We're still going to watch.
Mm-hmm.
We're still going to buy that dude's jerseys.
Basically. One could argue that after Tyreek Hill left the Chiefs, I mean, he's a really good player, but is he that GOAT-ish that we thought he was in Kansas City? He's still got speed, yeah. He's still solid, yeah. But
Kansas
he could be
City still wins.
Yeah. I mean, and look, so for me with this whole ordeal, and I think we all, and it's easy for us to always to focus on the player. But and I ain't trying to have these big, powerful owners come at us, but I guarantee you, some of these jokers with all that daggone money, their hands ain't clean.
Oh my goodness! Look, yeah, to your point, look at Dan. Jeez.
Dude, look at Kraft. Kraft. Did he not have the same stuff that was going on with these? I mean, but so what I'm saying is it how good you are? Is it who holds the purse strings? Who controls the narrative? I mean,
absolutely.
Come on now.
Because you think, to your point, you think cornerback number 5 on the depth chart for the New England Patriots survives cut day when that happens? Absolutely not.
Nah.
But
now.
it's and I'll certainly have people come after me, but you and I have talked about it on previous conversations we've had. Notre Dame isn't perfect by any stretch, but throughout my fanhood, for the most part, there has been some accountability for when people do things off the field. There's one case that I won't jump into that's pretty disturbing, that upsets me as a fan. But, typically self-reporting, you see guys get suspended, they don't make grades. For the most part, like, I feel like I am okay with what I know my school and institution that I support tries to do. Mm-hmm. And I feel like you now, I mean, that's got to make you feel better as a Commander fan going, all right, well, now I know my owner isn't harassing cheerleaders. And I know that there is some sort of standard in place for players if accusations that are this wild come into play. Mm-hmm. Like, look, man, at the end of the day, I got to live with myself as a person. Yep. And I'm not going to trade, sorry, Colin, sorry, Anthony. I'm not going to trade wanting my guys to have to live up to a certain code or standard for a championship. Mm-hmm. Like, if I die and my team never wins a championship, I'm not going to sell my soul for it. I'm not going to wish it away.
If you win a title, you'll get all that money and all that attention, and everybody will talk about you, and you get to see the president.
I know, man, but I'd rather wait till 2027 for the White House visit. Well. But
we defer our White House visit till after.
That's just my opinion. I think the food is supposed to be better when, other presidents are in. That's the whole reason. No political reasons whatsoever. Just I want my players to have the best food. But the older you get, and I'm sure you feel this way too, like I want these kids to leave college like better men than they get to college, whether that's at Florida State or North Carolina or South Carolina or Michigan. I know they go and they become worse curmudgeon-y people when they go to Michigan.
Yeah.
But
South Carolina too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Horribly. The crescent moon, Yeah.
The heart of the Confederacy, Will.
But I want these to be like cool young men that when my workplace hires them, that they're ready for the world.
Right.
Like I want them prepared. I want these to be like good fathers.
Yeah.
And if sacrificing some of the BS that coaches put up with does that, then I think it's worth it. Like the championship or bust. It sounds corny and cliche, but like I really sincerely don't believe that championships or champions are made on the field. I think it happens in the off season. I think it happens in the locker room. I think it happens in the meeting rooms. I think it happens in their family. I think it happens in the legacy that they hand down to their children. And that's not what this show is all about, because we want to say championships, like we want our teams to win, but I don't think you are, and I know I'm not willing to sell my soul. I don't think Anthony and Colin are.
Nobody is. None of them.
But I think their coach does.
Well,
and that's kind of the thing. And the other thing is, I don't think he has to.
Right.
That's the part that bothers me about it.
But here's the other thing, though, Eric. Is he in the minority? You got a great coach. But
you might offend him calling him a minority.
No, I feel you have a great coach who has a great culture, and what he's built over there, I absolutely love. But then I'd sit here and I look at the situation like, who was it? Was it PJ Fleck? That it came out there was hazing or something?
So that was Pat Fitzgerald.
Pat Fitzgerald, that's what it was, the Northwestern. Sorry, PJ. Yeah. That Pat Fitzgerald of Northwest. I mean, I remember watching him when he played at in college. Like, I remember watching him come up, and then he came back and played here. And then for that to happen, it's kind of like, well, and now, mind you, that's not about winning per se, but it is about, you have this image of this guy as he's
clean cut, loyal to the program. He's going to stay there no matter what because he cares about academic standards. He's not selling out to win. And then meanwhile, he's turning a blind eye to the same thing they were doing when he was a player there.
Right.
I'm with you with that. And that's the thing too, man. Like, I love Marcus. I believe in Marcus. You know how many like celebrities and people we've looked up to that all of a sudden you go, oh my gosh, they got me again. Like Joe Paterno. We never thought that he was sweeping stuff under the rug.
Yeah.
Mike D'Antonio.
Nope.
D'Antoni. I always mix them up. Damn it. Your Michigan State coach, not the old Lakers Knicks coach.
Right.
Mark D'Antoni. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like these people that you didn't know were turning blind eyes to things.
What
like
did
there's.
I thought it was the guy for the gymnastics.
That was so Michigan State. That's a whole other conversation for me and you.
Okay, yeah, we won't get into that
because we can fire. You want to fire some people up that love Michigan State? I'm your guy.
Oh, I already know how you feel about that. I already know about that.
So
call me when you find stuff about Duke. All right.
So, but that was part of it. But so this relates back to everything we've been talking about. Michigan State basketball. How did Tom Izzo survive the stuff that came out in the past 5 years about the amount of sexual assaults that happened for Michigan State players? Is Tom Izzo the one out and about, like, doing this? No. But at some point, you're building a culture, and it's on you to nip it in the bud.
Right.
Like Georgia.
Are we talking about two sets? Okay, so we all know about stuff.
Lots of players.
Okay, so this is not the doctor stuff with all the gymnasts. Okay.
No.
Yeah, you're gonna have to share this with me.
So Michigan basketball or Michigan State basketball and Michigan State football had a huge problem. Huge Title IX issues. That's what motivated football coach to leave. It was not long after what happened at Baylor. So all this stuff started popping up. So, It's interesting, and we could dive more into it. I'd have to kind of like reread where I would sound educated on it.
Wow.
But it was a very real thing. But the Larry Nassar stuff related into it because it was systematic of the university as a whole. I think I threw it in the chat. The Surviving Ohio State documentary that came out recently of what was happening in their sports programs that was not much. I mean, the Larry Nassar stuff inspired the people who were abused at Ohio State to step up. So those young women, those gymnastics women who stepped up, inspired the Ohio State men that were being abused to step up.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, it's happening like all over the place.
Yeah.
But how did Izzo survive? And then the football coach stepped away. Like perceived pressure is why he stepped away. So it's just fascinating.
Tony's not a national championship winning coach. He's not a fixture there.
Well, and that's my point too. Like, I mean, is it different if he had won a championship? Is he still there? Is Art Briles still at Baylor?
Oh,
like, I don't know, man. This took a really dark turn, and I'm mad at you for that.
Right. But I mean, it's the conversation. I mean, these things come. This is what these conversations lead to, and honestly, these are the things that a lot of people, they cast their judgment and they move on, and you don't really look deep into it because if you just fixate on this player or these guys or even just this school, then you start to downplay or even kind of dismiss the fact that it's not necessarily the school. It's not unique to the school. It's the culture of this is a prize, the prize player, the prize athlete. He's ascending. He has an opportunity to go X, Y, especially now that they can make more money and everything. So now you have people that do not have that talent or do not have that luxury of being on those teams or whatever, and they attach themselves onto it. But we can't take away from the fact that a lot of these kids, and I'm going from college, a lot of these kids are still kids, and you got a bunch of adults dealing with them with money, handing it out to them, people throwing women at them, throwing, cars at them, throwing all this stuff at them. And obviously it used to be more where it's like, oh, this disadvantaged youth, let's help him out. But now it's everybody. Now they don't care. They're just throwing it out there. And it's kind of like, how important is winning? And we've seen it just seems to be the everything, the biggest thing. And going back to the whole Georgia thing, you win 2 national championships, and then it doesn't matter if what happens with Big Baby Davis, Jordan Davis, with the 2 people passing away and the accident and all the driving. But you look at that and you see that, and he goes on to win a Super Bowl. And then you look at Henry Ruggs, who's sitting in the jail cell. And it's kind of like, okay, well, what?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's where it gets to this point where, yes, it's case sensitive, but at the same time, and going back to what you said earlier, you can't just sit here and strict in line and everybody that gets accused of it, you got to yank them out. Because then it's going to become a strategy. Okay, let me get in here with them. We'll do something consensual, or we'll sit here and I'll throw you something, and then I'll make up a lie. And then I know, especially in this day and age of misinformation, let me just throw this out there. And that will, if I get anybody to believe it, there's your credibility. It's shot. Well, what? When do we get to the point where it's kind of like, it's not, I don't want to say winning is not worth it, but we have to make a better society as opposed to just winning a flipping football game or basketball game, or you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Give these guys a better opportunity, absolutely. But to your point, let's build people, because what we're doing is you're doing. I heard a story the other about Dexter Manley. You know, all guy was I believe dyslexic. All through school, they pushed him through because the guy can play, and it got to the point dude's in the NFL and he couldn't read. And people didn't know because he was one of the best sackers. He can destroy the quarterback. Uh, Friday Night Lights. I know.
Dude, I was just thinking. As soon as you were done, I was gonna say Boobie Miles.
Boobie Miles. I just watched the documentary on him just the other day, and just how quickly. And now, mind you, that's in 1988, which comes full circle because I was talking about the Doug Williams thing. Boobie was supposed to be the guy, and then he gets hurt. And then you hear how these same scouts that had been following him for 2-3 years talk about him like, oh, well, what do you do to a lame horse once he goes lame? Well, you shoot him. One guy came out and said, you don't even waste a bullet on that. You know what I mean? Like and then you start to realize, did we matter at all?
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%. It's just the vessel that you were in that mattered.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't care about you. Next man in.
Mm-hmm.
And this all kind of comes together, and that's why I love conversations like this.
Yeah.
So, in our college football chat that we have, which is more just a whatever chat in general at this point, I keep bragging about, all the former players' sons who are going to Notre Dame. And the theme that keeps coming up with that is that these guys who played in the NFL, they saw their friends, they saw players who were great not make it in college, not make it to the NFL. And now they're doing something that they were so much more capable of doing something more outside of football, but they were never pushed outside of football. And that's a theme that keeps coming back, is that, they don't know if their son is going to be the next great, because they knew a guy who was better than them who didn't make it. But they do know that if they go to a school that cares about academics, that they see has a collection of people a network that is supportive beyond just football, that they have a greater chance to succeed in life as a whole. Notre Dame isn't the only place like that, but that's a selling point. They know guys who went there. They met players who played there and went to school there, and those players were a bit different than guys who maybe went to another school that I won't throw out a name just to be, I'm not just trying to throw some school under the bus.
Mm-hmm.
But to that point about Boobie Miles, like, what's the next thing we see of Boobie is he's like a trash man, right? He goes from being all world to now all of a sudden. So just really wishing that guys would take advantage of all there is. It's just like work for us, right? Like, we get paid to go do a job. We do the best we can, but there are like different benefits that we need to take full advantage of. Because at some point that time might end for us. We might not be valuable to that organization anymore, but we need to take advantage of every aspect of it that we can to better ourselves.
100%. Being somebody that's a what's it called, a workaholic like myself, being out these last 3-4 days, 5 days, sitting here thinking, and everything keeps moving. Nobody stops. They have to. They got to keep moving and keep doing it, and they will move past you in a heartbeat. And
no matter how important you feel like you are, it keeps moving. And that's something that I hope that, these coaches and these parents, kind of give to these kids. But it feels like it's becoming less and less and less. especially with NIL stuff, and which I think the NIL stuff is great in general, but it's everybody thinks they're somebody now.
Yeah.
And to your point, how quick you go from being 5-star on top of the world to you tear an Achilles, and now you're just another guy.
Mm-hmm. I think one of the best lesson that I ever learned, I learned this very, very early, is that you will, no matter how high you get, no matter how talented you are, no matter how much you have the best at this or the best at that, blah, blah, somebody's always going to come along and beat you. Somebody's always going to come along and bet you. I grew up Joe Montana. He's a Notre Dame legend. I to this day still say he's the greatest quarterback that I've ever seen. He's my favorite quarterback, and I think he's still the greatest quarterback of all time. I understand there's a guy named Tom Brady that is ousted in Super Bowls and blah, 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 and we know all that stuff, right? But one of the things that I think that did for me, because when I was younger, I played ball and I played football. And when I played football, the reason why I didn't know anything about anybody else, because I didn't care about anybody else. My job was to get to the NFL. However small the chance that was, I was going to do it. So when I got hurt against Centerville, thank you very much. When I got hurt, it was kind of like, well, there that goes.
Yeah, what do I do now? I put my whole life into this.
Right. I didn't play ball after that. I got like a partial scholarship to Virginia State. And then when I get there, they tell me that the coach that sought after me, they fired him. So I put all my thing into going to this school. Now it was an HBCU at the time. I grew up in Herndon, which was, predominantly white. So it was kind of like a culture shock. It was just a bad situation all around. But what it did is it made me realize, all right, and it took me a while to do this. I went through a lot of stuff, and it took a long time to get. But it made you realize, okay, what else is there? It's not necessarily, you're not going to be the best at everything. And there are some people. There's the Michael Jordans up there, right, and the Montanas. But then there's always going to be the Brady. And then there's always going to be LeBron. Somebody's always going to come and continue to be better. Where do you make your impact? That's one of the things I love about the Let's Talk Football, the brand and everything. We're not going to be the greatest show. We're not going to be the greatest set of shows. We're not going to be the greatest of everything. But we are going to be consistent. We're going to continually try to bring the most up-to-date information. We're going to come with different varying opinions, and we're going to try to give you something that is unique and that is from us. And to me, I think that is more of what, if we can aim for that, I think that's more of something that's achievable. Now, there are other people out there, like the Jordans, like the people that have that mentality that's, I will not be denied, and they make it to that spot. And I'm not downplaying that. I'm saying what's worked for me in my life is know what you're dealing with, get in where you fit in, and you do the best at each thing you do. Granddaddy always told me, learn everything about anything. You always know something. You got to keep doing whatever. And once you get to that mentality that you're not going to be, and you might be the best, but you're not going to be the best all the time forever. Somebody will always be better. And there's some people that will always look at you like you are the best. If you ask Cheryl Spence, my mother, I'm the best thing ever. Forget any of these other people. I'm the best thing. But it's one of those things that, and this is me for my personal, that's helped me to get through it, because I feel like if you just keep sitting here and I'm the best, and you narrowly focus and you're going on like that way, it could work, but I think you shut yourself off to a lot of other things potentially.
Let me throw a North Carolina analogy at you that I think lines up with what you just said. So there's this basketball player that went to North Carolina, and during his time, he was one of the best players in the NBA.
Hmm.
He wasn't the best player, but he was one of the best players. He got older, and a lot of the other guys that were the best players with him at that time, they didn't know how to do anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy decided he was going to become a great defender.
Mm-hmm.
He decided he was going to be a great teammate.
Mm-hmm.
He ended up winning a championship as a role player after being one of the faces of the NBA.
Yeah.
Because at some point, no matter how good you are at something, you know, you're not going to be as good as you were, or you're not going to be well-rounded enough to continue to survive.
Yeah.
And are you thinking of who I'm thinking of? If not, that's all right.
No, because I was thinking no. So who is it?
That's all right. That's all right. Vince Carter.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. No. Yeah. Oh yeah. At first, I thought when you said North Carolina, who thought he was the best, I thought you were saying thought he was the best, Joseph Forte. But no, he never got to the league. No, so I was like, oh, but yeah, no, Vince, that's the second guy I thought. Yeah.
But he took, he saw, to your point, you get in where you fit in. Mm-hmm. When the legs didn't work quite as, he couldn't jump to the moon like he could anymore. All of a sudden, he developed this new skill.
Yeah.
When he wasn't the guy, he was able to take a back seat.
Yeah.
And, there's lots of guys we can name that couldn't do that.
Yes. Yes.
So even if you do become the Jordan or the LeBron, at some point, Father Time comes for you.
Still undefeated.
Still undefeated and forever will be.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron is still unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
But he only has so much time left on his clock too.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's 50. Who knows?
No.
But it's coming.
But you can still you can even look at him and say, don't come for me, people. I'm not saying he's fallen off, but in comparison to his first, 9 years when he went to like 8 straight finals, and then to now, where in the last 8 years, he's maybe gone to 1 final or something like that. And, they were talking about it from when he was in the East, he was winning, in the West, he's not. But a lot of that is he can't do what he did then. He's not.
Yeah. He used to be able to do it for 105, 110 games.
Right.
He can still do it as good as anybody, but not for 105 and 110 games.
Right.
I mean, Jordan with Washington, everybody talked about him being washed up. Go look at what he did in Washington at 40 plus.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot. And he still, on a given night, had it. The only time I got to see Michael Jordan play, I think it was his 40th or 42nd birthday. Man dropped 50. Like, so you can still have it, and it can still be magic.
Yeah.
I mean, Kobe, when, his body was beat.
Rest in peace.
His final game, what did he do? He went for like 55 or something?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, so, but I love what you said about get in where you fit in, because you're not always going to fit in how you once did. And not everybody's always going to fit around you.
Yeah.
And life evolves.
Yeah.
What are you going to do when you can't shoot a basketball the way you could before?
Exactly.
And
that was the. Go ahead.
Go ahead. You're good, man. Go.
Oh no, I was gonna say that. No, that was for me the moment that I found doing this, and found that it gave me. And I know nothing. I will always say this, and I think, and I don't know it to the level of the people that I'm saying I've heard it from, but I always say, like, you hear NFL players and stuff, like, you never get that feeling of running out of the tunnel and to the crowd and all that. And I will always say that. My last game, I bawled my eyes out, like, because I knew I would never play again. But there's no feeling greater than them calling you out, you running through the tag, you jumping up. Yeah, it's the whole world. This is what I'm made for. And this is very low grade at that. We don't like right now we're recording, but even other times we don't have thousands of people cheer. Yeah, you guys are great. Yeah, no, we don't have it. Most times we'll have 3 or 4 people in there, but it's getting in where you fit in. It's getting a little bit of that opportunity to put this stuff out there, talk about it, just to come together. And you also gotta sometimes you gotta alter your goals. Sometimes you got, once I realized I couldn't play football, once I realized I couldn't go to the NFL, okay, how else can I do something? How else can I succeed? Because sitting on my butt and not I'm not going to be able to not talk football. Let's start right there. I gotta talk football, and that's where you going back to the first thing you said. That is where you and I are on the same page. This will not stop for me, and I think that's why I like you so much, man. You my guy, because I rub a lot of people the wrong way. Because the minute that the national championship and the Super Bowl are over, a lot of people don't want to hear not one word about football until August. And I'm sitting here talking about, dang, man, I got to wait 6 months for this stuff. I got to wait this amount of time for this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you have to just figure out how you can keep feeding, how you keeping that alive. And that for me for a while, it wasn't there. I mean, I've always loved the game. I've always been around it, but I didn't have that out. So bringing this, and especially this show, this has been fun. But that outlet, I think, is something that is kind of like it gives you a little bit of that what I had from being there and hearing, like you talked about the crowd and the music and the bands and stuff like that. Like this is giving me a little getting that back.
You're in the moment.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
You feel important. You feel like I'm doing something. I'm doing what I'm meant to do. This is what I was called to do. This is what, and who knows? My mom thinks I should be a preacher, but I just like to talk. So
I'd listen to you. You could get me to run through a brick wall for you.
Bruh. I coached. Look, I still got some coaching years left in me. I need it. Come on.
Hey, man.
You're the Saturday.
How's Herndon doing these days?
I think we won. I couldn't even tell you. I'm not gonna lie to you. I looked up the other day about it. Oh man, but I mean, I coached for 10 years. Even when I did that, that definitely was a shot in the arm for me. I loved every minute of that because it was giving back. It was helping. It was still being able to have a little bit of that connection to it. But again, even when the season ended, you still have that gap. You know what I mean?
But we don't. That's the thing. We
that's
don't.
What it feels.
See, we think Nick Saban is a psychopath for being on the team playing after winning the title, already starting on next year.
Mm-hmm.
But, as soon as the game ends and whatever happens settles in, all right, so here's what we need to do in the portal. All right, who's coming back?
Right.
And you think about it, like you have some impact on it. The guys who are going to sign with this recruiting class are going to sign with it whether I look at the articles or not,
right?
Whether I'm watching, whether they're going to or not. But there's something about it that fills some sort of need, and it becomes not our identity, but part of our identity.
Yeah.
Many people would probably argue it's the only thing they know about me, but it's not the only thing about me. But there is no off season, man.
No. I don't want there to be.
No. I want to go straight back to it. If I could skip six months, I'm all for it. I'd wish my life away.
Oh yeah.
So thank goodness.
Bears have it the right way. They sleep and hibernate, and then they come back because they know.
Why are we doing that, man?
I would just sleep.
I can't afford.
I would stay for March Madness, but after
that's
that, I'm
true. Yeah, but you gotta you can't just go to sleep right after the season ends because you gotta have a cool
take me
down.
to the draft.
You gotta have a
draft, and then after that.
Yeah, no, get me through. Once I get through spring ball,
mm-hmm.
And I don't get any more CJ Carr news for a few months, I'll take a
You saw what happened in my dynasty.
Yeah, that's blasphemous, man.
That's crazy.
Talking about I know we're probably getting to that point where we're going to wrap up here in a minute, but we went this whole time, and I didn't get to say anything bad about Michigan.
Yeah. Go ahead. The floor is yours, my friend.
I don't even know what I want to say. So just insert whatever bad thing you can think for my good friend Alex Loosemore. And then same thing with South Carolina. Fill in the blank, Will Kramer. That's how your team is. Think of the worst thing you could think of.
Oh, yeah.
Brett Bielema making Shane Beamer look like a goofball.
Oh, my God. Oh,
was that a shot too much?
What did he do? What did he do?
And I like Shane Beamer, so I'm just being a jerk to be a jerk. We only put 10 men on the field when it's a key defensive down, so we all got our things. But prediction: Michigan 9 wins.
Ooh, okay.
Not including bowl game.
Okay. Who are we doing predictions of?
I don't know. I just wanted to make sure he knew that.
South Carolina 7 wins.
With the bowl game.
And they just get in with 6. Let's go.
What?
Let's go.
So, but yeah, I can't wait, and hopefully, we do more of these chats, and if someone watches this and they want to get in and see where the road takes us, welcome you to it. Or if they got some hot topic they need to discuss and are willing to go down a rabbit hole after we get off that topic, then go for it. But this has been, I've genuinely had a lot of fun, and it's cool to just catch up with a friend in a less, structured environment. Like,
what about down the rabbit hole?
What do you mean down the rabbit hole?
As a title.
Down the rabbit hole. I don't know. I feel like that's probably a title that's already out there. But
probably is.
But we should research that.
Yeah, because that's what we did.
Yeah, man. I can't even tell you what we talked about.
Nope. I know we talked about Vic and Ray Rice, and
we talked some music.
Yeah. High school.
Yep, definitely some throwback to high school. We talked about Michigan sucking.
Yeah, we didn't talk fully about Michigan State, but I'm sure you're going to tell me something about that a little bit later.
Then now I got to go back and do my research.
All right.
After I'm sure some Michigan State people are going to come out and try and fight, but we're not worried about you.
No, ain't nobody thinking about that.
Ain't nobody
and I don't have the affiliation anymore, so ain't no going green, it ain't no going white. It's Tar Heel all day, baby. Let's go.
That's the one team I want back on my schedule. Michigan State.
Oh man.
I hate them so much.
Dude, Erik, I got to apologize, man. I had a 10-year hiatus where I had to root for him.
I forgave you.
Yeah.
We talked earlier about forgiveness. I know that there were deep ties there. And I forgive you. We all go wayward at some point, but you came back.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing. And as much as I hate Michigan, Michigan State is the devil.
You know what's funny though? Hey, real quick, I feel like it's so funny. I feel like my teams with teams that I don't necessarily like, certain teams, Duke, Ohio State, Dallas. Never gonna like those guys. And even though I have friends that like those teams, or whatever, I'm never gonna like those teams. But some of these teams, like, it really depends on who I'm kicking it with at the time, because I spent like 10 years hating on Michigan. And then now that I'm not with Michigan State, now I got my buddy Alex. I'm like, I love Michigan. But then I used to be a big time Georgia fan until recently.
Because the Georgia boys,
For whatever reason, for the national championships, and all the well, since we have the Georgia, what is it called, the Georgia chat, because that's what it is. It's just Georgia news.
hey, last time I went on that show, it turned out pretty good for me.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to the Georgia boys. I think they're gonna have a good team this year.
Oh yeah. Well, we're gonna see. We'll see what happens this year. See, not gonna.
See, I'm with you though. Well, I don't know, man. I'm not good about that. I mean, I've never minded Michigan doing okay as long as it doesn't. Generally speaking, as long as we beat the team I hate, I don't really care if they succeed otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
So my favorite great Notre Dame season was the year that Michigan State would have went to the national championship, but they lost to us. And that is one of my favorite wins of all time.
Yeah. What year was it?
2013-ish, maybe 2014.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait.
They would have went to the national championship, or at least the playoffs. I can't remember what year it was.
Because what year did they go? They went to the playoff in 2014. When did they lose to Bama?
I don't remember. I just know there was a year, and I'm pretty sure it would have taken them right to the title game. That
the funny thing about
11-1.
Yeah, well, the funny thing about that is there was a year, the year that I got engaged. That was the year they lost to Bama. I think in the BCS, or they lost to Bama.
That was an ugly one too, wasn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
but that was on New Year's, because they could have moved. That was Connor Cook. WWCD. What would Connor do?
Throw picks.
Yeah. But the funny thing about it, and I can laugh at it now, is I was in Puerto Rico that night because I was going to propose, right, to the Michigan State fan. And we were watching that game. And I was going to propose at midnight, and the game was before midnight. And you want to talk about a bad omen. It was just one of those things where I was like, this cannot be happening right now. Something is telling me that this ain't right. Something ain't right about this. They didn't even score. And then I proposed.
Simply, you definitely, it has to add a little damper to it.
Damper? No. she got tanked, and it was not what I thought that the night would end up being like.
And I can respect after a beatdown like that getting tanked.
But for me, I'm sitting here, I was sweating through all my stuff, like sitting there like, oh man, I'm all right, I'm preparing, I got this plan, I got that plan, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And then I remember just sitting there looking like, oh my God, the game is on. I was like, no, what is happening? So she's just watching the game. And so I'm like, this is terrible. And I couldn't, because I had the band set up. Like, I had the mic, I had the people there, everything.
So it's not like you can just say, simmer down.
Right? Like, I can't even kill it. I can't even. Oh, man. Are you seeing, you a Kevin James fan?
I've seen some of his stuff.
You seen, what is it, the Zookeeper?
I have not seen that one.
Oh, okay. Where essentially he had this. He was engaged to this this girl, and he was gonna propose, and he got a horse on the beach and got a mariachi band, and then he brings her to the beach, and the mariachi band and the horse, all of them were supposed to come up behind her, and he was like, and she was like, I think we should see other people. And then all of a sudden, the mariachi band comes and starts playing. The horse goes, the fireworks go off. He's just like, all right, stop. They just keep playing.
So, like a very it does seem like a kind of like a comedy, romantic comedy kind of move, a forgetting Sarah Marshall kind of thing.
Right.
Oh man.
I don't know if it was the zookeeper or something, but that's what he was. He was a guy that worked at a zoo.
He's just sweating.
Yeah.
Just sweating. Oh, we should see other people.
That's what I felt like. I mean, she didn't say that we should see other people part.
Yeah.
But definitely, it was one of those situations where had she known it was happening, she would have been like, "Don't do this tonight."
Yeah.
Tonight's not the night.
There's nothing better than the at game proposals.
Yeah.
Where you can see the woman's like.
Yeah. Right.
Just. Oh, you hate to see it, but it also is like riveting.
Yeah.
That's a brave soul.
Mm-hmm.
But I give you props, man. You went for it. 4th and 25 there.
Right, and now I'm here. So.
Hey, man. It's all good. I'm just happy me and you get to talk trash about Michigan State now.
Right. But look. At least it wasn't that that video I sent you that they always joke about with the stadium pulse with the guy and the girl in the crowd, and she's just like, "We're through." You just see the stadium pulse.
There's no winning sometimes,
It was
man.
rough.
There's no winning sometimes. But hey, man, I think I'm going to call it on this one. I had a blast. And then I'll see you in the after show talk. Yes, again, hopefully we can put up a disclaimer at some point if someone ever listens to this saying, please don't listen to Erik. But this was a lot of fun, and I look forward to more times going down the rabbit hole, as you
Absolutely.
said.
Oh yeah. Going down the rabbit hole. I can dig it.
Well, to whoever's listening, peace out. Thank you for taking the time, because you made it through a long list of topics and just jumping all over the place. And with that said, Alex, hopefully you made it this far.
Yeah.
Y'all suck.
And there's only one Carolina, and it's North Carolina. Let's go.
Take your shirt off, spinning around like a helicopter.
Let's go.
Petey Pablo.
I love it. All right.
Peace.